Now, let's just have an overview of the program. First, we will have our welcoming remarks and connection to the IFSA strategy. And we will have our round of introduction of the speakers. And we will have our most awaited part of the workshop, which is the breakout rooms. And we will have our general session, Q&A, and wrap up at the end of the session. And of course, what is the connection of the capacity building workshop to the IFSA strategy? So here are the three main goals of IFSA. First is to strengthen the IFSA community. Second is to take learning beyond the classroom and enable students to engage globally. But what is the relevance of social media and design workshop to the IFSA strategy? First is in order to strengthen the IFSA community, we can have this workshop because it helps us promote IFSA events effectively and at the same time enhances our digital communications. And on the other hand, we are also able to take learning beyond the classroom by enhancing our soft skills and personal development. So that is all for the connection of the IFSA strategy to this workshop that we have today. And now let's proceed to the panel introduction. First, we have Hygienist. He is our speaker for social media. He is from Ghana, and he is also the Youth Communications Officer for the Global Landscapes Forum. Let's give him a round of virtual applause. Please give me a minute. Okay, thank you for waiting. Um, okay, so now we can proceed to our next speaker for social media, Chloe Abayo. Chloe is a senior undergraduate student studying Bachelor of Forestry in the University of the Philippines. She started her IFSA career as a commissioner under the Social Media Subcommission in the 2020 to 2021 term, where she worked on video projects such as the International Day of Forest Open Letter and the Job Talk series. In the succeeding term of 2021 to 2022, she was appointed as the head of commissions where she collaborated with several bright individuals within and outside of the IFSA circle who broadened her perspective on the current identity of forestry on the online platform. As she approaches her graduating semester, she seeks to learn more ways to showcase the creative or fun side of forestry, to spark wonder and interest in those who have yet to learn more about the career. So please give Chloe a round of virtual applause. Okay, now for our third speaker, our speaker for design, Elif Duman. Elif is a second-year landscape architecture master's student from Turkey. She is currently pursuing her master's degree at the Estonian University of Life Sciences and is part of the IFSA local committee in Estonia. Elif joined IFSA during her bachelor's studies at Istanbul University Faculty of Forestry. Since then, she has held 3 official IFSA positions. Between 2019 to 2021, she served as the Southern European Regional Representative and last year as the IFSA Vice President. During her terms as the IFSA official, Elif participated in several IFSA projects such as the Youth Forestry Policy Days and helped with communication strategy and relevant design elements. She is currently a member of the IFSS 2023 Germany Organizing Committee's Communications team, focusing on design and marketing materials for the event. Again, let us give Elif a round of virtual applause. And last but not the least, we have our second speaker for design, Dewanti. So Uma began her IFSA journey back in 2019. She was a commissioner of media and communication at IFSA Universitas Gadjah Mada or UGM in 2020. before stepping up as the head of said commission a year after. She was also the head of the design subcommission under the Communication Commission of IFSA for the term 2021 to 2022. Currently, she is a consulting member of IFSA LCUGM for the term 2023 and an exchange student pursuing applied zoology in Japan. So, for the last time, let's give Uma a round of virtual applause. So that is all for our speakers for today. Now let us proceed to our breakout room session where the discussion and the workshop itself will take place. And as said earlier, participants will be divided into two breakout rooms, social media and design, and each room has one facilitator. So you may ask your facilitator any questions on or concerns that you have in case there are any. And uh, before the workshop, we sent an email containing the document with all the necessary details to proceed with the workshop. But in case you haven't, you may click this link and our moderators will send it also in the chat box. But you may also scan the QR code to go to the document containing all those details about capacity building workshop and the details needed for the output later. And after the breakout room session, each group will have 1 to 2 minutes to share the main highlights with the rest of the participants. Okay. Now you may join a breakout room. So if you want to join social media, please stay in the main room and later we will open breakout room 1. But if you are interested in learning about design, please go to breakout room 2. Again, if you are interested in learning about social media, please stay in this room, which is the main room. And if you're interested in design, please go to breakout room 2. Okay, so see you at our breakout room session. So just a reminder that if you are interested in social media, please stay here in this main room. And if you're interested in design, please go to breakout room session 2. Okay, so I now give the floor to our speakers, Hyginus and Chloe.
Yeah, hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Great. So thanks so much for the introduction, Isabel. And I'm so happy to be part of this workshop and to share my knowledge and as well as learn from my fellow panelists, especially Cleo, yeah, whom we've been working together for this social media presentation. So this is a brief presentation, which I would like to take you all through. Afterwards, we would have the run of question and answers, yeah, to actually delve and then answer more of your questions. So next slide. Great. So this is basically myself and my position, and I'm with the Global Landscapes Forum as the Youth Communications Officer. So for this presentation, we're going to briefly look at some quick facts and figures when it comes to social media, and then the basic tips of social media, and then as well as tips for posts and then campaigns. And as well, we'll look at, afterwards, we would answer questions that you might have. Yeah, so this is a graph or statistics that shows the percentage of internet users when it comes to age from 16 to 64, which says the options which they prefer, right, as the main social media handle. And you can see WhatsApp actually takes the lead with about 15.7%, and the rest follows. So which means when it comes to social media, you should know, okay, which social media handles do most of your audience use, and make sure to target your post and your contents towards those particular handles. So this is a chart that we can actually use to reflect on when it comes to social media posts and content creation. Next. And also this is a geographical distribution when it comes to the percentage of internet users. So mostly people who are online across the continent, across the world, you can see the percentages allocated. So this is percentages of out of the total population. So you can see some with about 92%. You have North America, about 92% of their population usually stay online or like use the internet most often. So this is something to actually for us to keep in mind, okay, to post our content or like target some particular areas and regions when it comes to sharing our content and making social media posts. Next. So when it comes to social media, there are some tips and the first one is understanding your audience. This is one major tip that we need to understand when it comes to content creation and social media usage. So you have to understand what topics that your audience are interested in. You also have to look at the social media accounts that they spend more time on, as well as when they come online. Because like you need to understand, okay, which times should I send my posts out, and which time will my audience get to engage and then get to see my post, right? So these are some important markers or important indicators that we use to actually make our content really appreciate it, like make people see our content, the content I want to share. And also what kinds of content do they engage with? You know, we have different types of content that we send out, which will be delving more in the presentation moving forward. Next. And also when it comes to social media, we need to look at, okay, how to reach more people, right? When it comes to social media. And some of the tips to use is we make sure it is easy, our posts are easy to find. And basically in order to make your post to find, you need to use the important and relevant hashtags. You need to mention people, especially the people that you actually want them to actually have your message, or like people you like to tag them, or influential persons that you would like to tag them so that they can see your message and also what help share them. So these are very important things that can make your social media post to reach out to your audience. Also, you find the relevant conversations. So you, as part of understanding your audience, you need to know, okay, which kind of conversations do they actually engage with? And then when you find those kind of particular conversations, you join in with your social media handles, then you share your thoughts and also answer questions with regards to such conversations. And also one major thing that actually helps people find your posts is that when you share the post of others, definitely people will look out to your social media account and say, hey, which account is it? Then they'll check in your account and say, okay, this is the account that shared this post. And they'll go through your profile or like your timeline and they find, okay, these are the posts they also posted. So in as much as you share people's posts, you get more people also coming into your timeline or your social media handles to check whatever post that you have. And also as part of reaching more people with your social media posts, you need to make your posts very timely. Okay, so you need to know, okay, at what time should I post? Especially when you are dealing with students or like student network, people who are in the universities, you know that, okay, there are some periods that are classes times, right? So you don't need to post around those times. If not, they wouldn't see the post. So you rather target at periods where they'll be out, which is maybe break times, where most students try to check on their phones, and also after closing, when they close from lectures, you need to understand these particular times and they send your post out during those times. And also check the relevant news that is available within those periods, and then that are trending, right? Then you post them as well. And also making your posts engaging. Okay, it's good that you make your posts easy for your followers to react, especially the kind of messaging that your content carries, right? It should be easy to understand and engaging. You should use action like words, and then simple words that your audience would understand, and also what comment and then ask questions if they don't understand anything. And also you pay attention to your ending and your starting. Your caption to your content should be catchy, and then the ending too should have maybe a call to action, or like if you want people to apply to something, if you want some people to register to something, it should usually come at the ending, right? So these are various indicators and elements that you need to incorporate when it comes to social media posts. And then what kind of a comment or a message would you like, share, and then also tweet or like reshare? So you need to also understand all these particular elements when it comes to social media posts and how to reach people with it. And also the last but not the least on this particular slide is being consistent and build trust. So the more you post regularly, the more people get to interact with your post, and the more people engage with your post. But it shouldn't be way too much, right? It should be kind of like within a sizable period of time, right? You post a number of posts, and then you find that okay, people keep engaging with the posts, right? If it's overwhelming, people get fed up with your post because every time they see your post, but like it should be at a moderate level. You know the times to post, and then okay, this times we post this number of posts, and then this times you post this number of posts. And there are days that you can post more posts because you know audience will be there to engage with your post, right? And also it's good to engage with your audience, just as I mentioned earlier, right? So once you retweet people's posts, definitely they also retweet yours, right? So once you engage with your audience posts, they also do the same to you. And then also be aware of fake news. There are most bloggers or like content creators that put out fake news just to attract people to their websites and for people to come read in their website. So we need to be aware of the kind of posts that we share, especially when it comes to news at the global front. Yeah, so we'll get more into this later in the slide. Next. So just as I mentioned earlier, we have here are some kinds of content that would encourage people to post when it comes to social media, and it's one of the tips. So basically, we have various contents, and we have visuals, which usually help us promote most of our activities and events. We also use infographics, photos, videos, links, event codes, speaker codes, GIFs. We have polls, live streams, and we encourage people to be as creative as they can, right? So you can put yourself out there, like just making a short video of yourself, be creative, add links to the content that you actually be sharing, and then you post them out. So these are various content types that usually are very beneficial when it comes to social media posts and content creation. Next. So this is where we need to understand what exactly is good for us to keep as part of building our brand as social media aspects and people who are really interested in social media and design related conversations. So we need to keep in mind of fake news or facts, okay? So before you post a particular news or message, you need to fact check it. Okay, you need to go background and then make your research and see, okay, is this content worth sharing? Is it actually something that is really true before you share it? If not, sometimes we put out false news out there, and later on it comes to haunt us. And putting a lot of fake news out there like reduces your credibility as a social media account and as a community, because people will get to know that okay, you don't even fact check your news before you post them. So it makes your account not so relevant to your audience again, and they lose trust in whatever you post. And also using correct language. You know, when it comes to social media, it's just like communicating as a person, right? The kind of words you use, the tone of your content should be moderate, like should be kind of like it should be friendly, right? Especially for youth social media accounts, you should use friendly language and friendly tones to communicate with your audience. And also you need to be gender sensitive when it comes to social media posts, right? You don't mostly post like targeting or like mentioning a particular gender and isolating the other gender, right? This is something we should pay attention to when it comes to posting. So you need to make your post very inclusive, and then regardless of gender, any gender separation or difference. and also representing your values. And for us, it's the GLF values. So you need to keep in mind whatever that you post out there, right, should represent your values. So if your values is building community, you should know that, okay, my posts and my content out there should be something suiting. And when someone sees or like read my message, it will actually send a good message to the person and actually help the person make good decisions and judgments. And copyrights and edits. Okay, this is also an important part, which actually makes your social media accounts gain more credibility and make people get to engage more with your post and keep trusting in whatever that you post. So when you're using a photo that is not yours, you make sure you give credit to the person that actually took that photo. And also, I think this helps people build trust in you and also help your account to gain credibility, and then the good stance that you need for your organization and your account. Next. So I think in that's all for the social media basic tips, and then basics and then tips for social media. So my colleague Cleo will take over, and then afterwards we'll take the questions when you have any. Thanks
Yes.
so much.
Thank you for that presentation, Hygienist. We really learned a lot from you. And now let us learn about how to use social media, the social media tips that Hygienist just shared with us in the IFSA context. So our previous Comcoms head, Chloe Abayo, will be discussing this part. So we have the floor, Chloe.
Hello, and thank you for the pre-introduction and very informative talk from Hygienist. So it's really helpful that the general tips were held out, because I will be giving examples of how the tips that Hygienist mentioned were used in the IFSA context from the previous term and the continuing term. So you'll be seeing some familiar posts that you might find interesting to learn about the tips that were mentioned. And to start off, I'll be giving a rough outline of what I'll be talking about. First, we'll be talking about knowing the audience, and in particular, the IFSA audience. So who is IFSA's target audience? Who do we interact with? Then we'll talk about the promotional materials, since this is the main, usually the main function of our social media accounts as IFSA members. So if you're a former member of the communications team, or maybe you're familiar with your regional representatives and how they are disseminating information amongst the group, you would be familiar of the different promotional materials. Or even if you're just an avid fan of the IFSA social media accounts, you'll be seeing these things. And then the quick overview of social media platforms, of what things that we've noticed in IFSA as a general perspective, and some comments that I would like to extend on, so that it's more easy to identify patterns or interesting things, especially for those working with regional representatives. And of course, the challenges, because social media is a daunting task, to be honest, and it's not without its challenges when you're working on the on different managing different aspects of social media. So it's something that we'll be tackling, and of course the activity at the end. So first is knowing the IFSA audience. So one of the goals of social media is connecting different demographics across different regions, and we'll also touch on some perspectives that I like to look on when distinguishing social media as a content creator and a content consumer, or the audience. So as a content creator, you're being very analytical. You're thinking of, how do I best present my information? How do I best work on giving information that should be presented to different individuals, and gather their interest, of course. And as a content consumer, I'm thinking, what's interesting in this post? What details are going to be relevant to me? What details are relevant to how I see things, or how these connect to my life and why should I be concerned about it? It's not always that kind of perspective, but it's one way to look at how you approach social media. And most of the time, as a content creator, you have to make adjustments to cater to a certain audience. So an essential part that I like to bring up is a social media identity. So if, for example, as IFSA, you have the impression that forestry students are very strong with their environmental advocacies, and then that's part of the social media identity that you want to bring out. So that is so you would notice that there are a lot of information or posts that are related to environment related themes, things about delegations going to conferences that talk about sustainable development, working on the environmental challenges. But note that a social media is not an identity that is grown overnight. Just because your advocacy links towards environmental management, it shouldn't be the only thing that constitutes your identity. IFSA is also a youth organization. IFSA speaks out to forestry workers who are from different demographics, men, women, different members of the LGBTQ community. There are different aspects to the identity, and as society grows, or the social media in general, not just IFSA grows, you have to keep up with the times and you have to update that identity to reach out to more people and become more become more connected to who you want to consider as your audience. So general distinguishing of the IFSA audience, which will be relevant to the discussions of promotionals later, is the IFSA group, who consists of our local committee members. So usually those who are IFSA officials, of course, and those who are members of the local committees and are the usual target audience for IFSA events, such as webinars and workshops such as now, then the delegations for different events. And there's also the quote-unquote non-IFSA groups, who are technically not members of IFSA, but are very important partners, very important people who we like to keep in our circle. And they are they constitute of our partner organizations, even forestry enthusiasts, maybe young high school students who are thinking, oh, maybe I want to pursue a career in forestry and this organization interests me. And there's also future members, incoming members from the different local committees, new local committees who are signing up. You want to consider them as part of the IFSA audience as well. So of course, this is going to vary from different regions, especially and even more so when you narrow it down to countries, provinces. There's going to be different demographics. So it's not like it's not easy to make a general profile for who the IFSA audience is in terms of characteristics, who they are as people. So the distinguishing of the information between what interests our LC members and what interests our partner organizations, enthusiasts, and future members is the main thing that puts emphasis on how you will be structuring the information you receive. So I'll be giving some examples here. So first, here we have the webinar series on the IFSA Youth Summer School. So this was targeted to any undergraduate or master's forestry students who were studying in Ukraine. That was the only condition before being able to attend to this event. So you'll see that it's not exclusive to IFSA members. So you put more information, since you need to give more details on what this activity is going to do, what this is going to constitute for who will be joining. And especially if you're not familiar with IFSA, the audience is not familiar with IFSA, you're going to need more information. And on the picture to the right, it's an open call for the UN Water Conference delegates, and this is open to all IFSA members. Delegations are something that are already a bit of a familiar thing for IFSA members. So the details on the pages are more on another site, and the card is a simpler format. So that's something that you could consider when distinguishing how much information to put when considering the audience. Another another example I'd also like to put is the Cultural Days, which is an event that is the presentations are restricted to IFSA members. However, the participation is open to all. So you want to give more emphasis on putting more details on the Cultural Day invitation. You include that it's open to everyone, and anyone can enter as long as they're interested and they want to be part of the discussion, the discourse. Then you also make the distinction on the IFSA LCs for the Cultural Days presentation, because I've seen that hashtag Cultural Day is actually a very common hashtag. So it's not an event that's exclusive to IFSA sometimes. And then it can overlap with some announcements. So when people search hashtag Cultural Day, they could see this invitation, and then they might think that it's open for anyone who's available. So the distinction that it's specific for presenting IFSA members is something to take note of. Moving to the next part on promotional materials, there are collaborations done by different members of the IFSA team. So three major categories is the point person or point persons. They're usually the one with the most information on an event or activity. These include the IFSA officials, the regional representatives, and sometimes they're also our partners from the partner organizations like GLF, IUPRO, C4, and the design team, or usually the design communication or a member of the Comcoms team. They're those who help create the media that will be posted, given the information that are provided by the point persons. And then the social media team are considered the planners, those who post the information. They can do the posting with and this writing of captions. They can make calendars to plan out what is going to be posted when, or what to be prepared for the posting. And the promotionals is the main one of the main things to consider in IFSA communication. So some examples. Here we have a calendar created for the COP26 delegation. So this is from the previous term, an old calendar that was created to detail tasks, who will be responsible and what will be posted. But as you can see, there's a lot of information, so there's no need to digest most of those. I just like to give an example of how the calendars work if you're not yet too familiar with how the planning goes. And then the other things that are included alongside the planning is the type of presentation or the content posted on social media. So based on Hygiene's examples earlier, I picked some examples that are happening. For example, is this card for the capacity building workshop. So this is a registration link card, or speaker introduction card that lists who are presenting and what association they are affiliated with. And another more specific teaser or speaker introductions are seen in these slides. So it could be as simple as providing their photograph with small descriptions, or giving the bio of the speaker if it's necessary to expound more on who they are, especially in the academic world when you're trying to cater to a different demographic who might not be familiar with them. And then a teaser is something like that like this as well. For the video example, if you are familiar with the gender open letter presented by EFSA in the previous term, a very amazing project done by our gender subcommittee, we created a teaser for the 8-minute video. So this was posted in the EFSA YouTube, but the teaser was done as an Instagram live story. So I'll be playing it for a refresher, or for those who are not yet familiar with the media. So I'm not sure if you can hear the audio though.
No, the audio is not working, I guess.
Okay. That's all right. Since it's just a thank you for that, Annie. It's just a presentation of what was a teaser looking like in the video format. So you see the collaboration of different IFSA members, and then it included some tidbits like snippets of the actual video, and by the end you'll be seeing that there'll be a link referring to watching the video on the YouTube channel. So there's like a cross-linking of the different social media accounts. So if you follow the Instagram of EFSA, it would be directing you to also visit the other social media channels such as YouTube to see the other content. So that's something that helps in connecting the social media accounts as well. So we're going to discuss a bit on what social media platforms does IFSA have. The main things that we were managing in the previous term were Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Though sometimes YouTube is considered a social media account, I don't think that's, I consider these four more prevalent for the presentation, since this is where most of our announcements happen, though YouTube is also a very important kind of account, because this is where archives of our video outputs and presentations happen, and where interactions among commenters are also happening. So that's something to consider as when you're looking at YouTube as a social media account. And then there's also the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram differences. For example, each platform has their nuances. From what we noticed, Facebook and Instagram have square images that are better for mobile browsing. So it's easier to do that, to have square images, since it's more consistent among platforms. Though, of course, rectangular images or videos sometimes are also viable. You'll also know that if you use Twitter, it has a relatively low word count compared to other social media platforms. So when we make captions, typically we cut a lot of information when it comes to making Twitter captions, because it just doesn't fit, and it won't be posted if it won't fit. And lastly, LinkedIn's users are usually older than those in the other platforms, since LinkedIn is a more somewhat professional social media account. So you rarely see those coming fresh out of high school on the platform. And when you do, they're not too intent on browsing the content, because it's not something that's as interactive as the other social media platforms. And that's also something we'd noticed among different regions, that different platforms are more active depending from where you are located. For example, in Philippines, Facebook is the best platform to announce events, at least from what I noticed. When it comes to formal events, it's easier to navigate them when they're announced through Facebook. Instagram is also a viable choice, especially when it's done through video format or Instagram live stories, the shorts, and though they're a bit more technical. And when we were talking about the IFSS for last year, we learned from the communications team of the organizing committee that in Chile, Instagram is more popular than Facebook, which is why they chose that platform as their main communication point for organizing IFSS. So that's something to take note of when looking at the nuances of the different platforms. All right, so we'll be moving on to the challenges. I'm taking a bit of time, so I'll breeze through this. It's almost the last slide. So time zones, statistics, interactions vary across regions. You would know that some things don't always go to plan, especially when you're trying to communicate on the online platform. Sometimes electricity cuts out, and then something that you were supposed to post on that day, or a design card you were supposed to send just didn't send. It's normal, and sometimes you need to train yourself to be prepared for the worst possible situations, or at least be prepared to create a backup plan when things don't go your way. You also notice that too many steps in planning can become confusing to your team. So in the timetable I posted earlier, I admit that was a bit difficult to follow since there was so much text happening. And sometimes it can be overwhelming for people, especially when there's so much information. So you need, even in the planning stage, you need to learn how to communicate as briefly or in the best way that you can get your team to understand as well. And something I'd also like to add is social media is not only limited to planning, but also interacting. So Hygienist actually raised a really good point about interactions in his presentation, because I noticed that's something that's a bit lacking for IFSA's accounts, especially in comments, or when things are posted for the first time. There's usually like a plateau before the regional representatives share the information, or our LC members are sharing them to their own LC members. There's usually a plateau before more interactions rise, and even with that, there's a bit of a low number count on IFSA interactions. So that's something that we hope would be improving when we build on the IPSA goals, which is bringing the community closer together, because interactions are something that build through relationships as well, not just interest in the topic, but if you want to, for example, support someone, you're more likely to interact. Like, for example, someone you know was nominated the IFSA Member of the Year, you're most likely to give heart reactions, give congratulations to that person, because you know that it's something you care about as a member of the organization. And if that helps, that's something to build on with forming relationships. And lastly, there is already a lot happening when it comes to managing one social media account. So it can definitely be overwhelming for someone new to the competitive or like more technical side of social media, because when you're doing it casually, you don't really think about how many likes or interactions will my post get. It's all right if people don't like it as much, as long as I post it. But when you're posting for an organization or on behalf of someone, you have like the pressure to be more aggressive with your planning. And that's something that can be a bit scary, but it gets better over time when you become used to it. So I put a note here, despite the challenges, that like a lot of things, social media management develops. It's a skill that develops. And especially when you're working with a team who gives you different perspectives, and diverse backgrounds also give diverse experiences. So you learn more when you work with a team, and we learn from your mistakes. You should be kind to yourself when you fumble, and you know that maybe you could have done better in something, but of course the time has passed and you have to move on. You also have to look at what's next steps you can do to take constructive feedback and improve, to make things better in this next run or to help others in their journey as well. So that's the last parting thing that I'd like to include before we go to our activity. Are our moderators here?
For the wonderful presentation.
Annie, your connection's a bit choppy.
Breakout.
I will just message Annie regarding the connection.
For the workshop. So
Hi, Cleo.
Okay. Please wait, everyone, while we resolve some technical difficulties. Thank you for the opportunity to speak as well. All right. So while waiting for further instructions, I will give some information on the activity that we will be hosting for the social media workshop. So participants will be divided into two groups. I see there are 12 people here minus Hyginus and I. That would be around 10 people. So that's 5 people per group, or given that there's we intended that each group would have 12 members, since we expected around 50 participants, maybe we can have the participants in one group. Or hello, Belle.
Hi.
Could I ask for help in dividing the participants into groups?
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Yeah. So group 1 will be staying in this room, and the group 2 will be moving to the breakout room 2. That should be breakout room 2. For a total of 20 minutes, you will be discussing the activity. I'll be sharing it now, as well as the Jamboard link, so that you could open it. Hang on. Social media Jamboard. Okay, so this is the link for the activity that will be done. I will also be switching my screen to this activity so that everyone can see. If you're not able to access the link, that's all right. We can share screen what's happening at the other side. Okay. Okay. So it's already working. Just to clarify, everyone can see what's in the Jamboard right now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're having here is that we're having a scenario, and you guys will be brainstorming among different groups. So I'll read the instructions. you are tasked to create a social media plan to promote IFSA CBW, or this social media and design, that will happen on January 28th, 2023. So let's assume that you're part of the organizing committee who would have been planning for this event. And then you're tasked to provide a concept note and create promotions throughout the month of January to highlight the event. You will be collaborating with your teammates to prepare a schedule for the social media posts that you think are best suited for the event. Use the design calendar and sticky notes template to note certain activities that will occur through the month. So the concept note is linked in the Jamboard if you want to take a peek at it. And then some examples are posted here. I am just having trouble moving slides. Okay. Before we go to the example output, I'll just put some things to remember. First is set realistic expectations. We're only given 20 minutes to brainstorm, and another 1 to 2 minutes for each of the two groups to present their outputs. And some ideas might be difficult to present. Maybe they take a long time, and that's okay. What's important is the process of developing ideas and exchanging ideas among different participants so that we can come up with different suggestions or things to go through. And then second, keep activity descriptions short if possible. You can expound your ideas through a 5-minute the 2-minute presentation, especially if there is not enough space in Jamboard to type. And you can ask for help from the moderator or speakers if you have any questions. So the next part of the Jamboard is, here is the sample calendar. So what I did here was I made my own suggestions, whether or not they're feasible. That's something that can be reviewed. And activities consist of asking for the design team to create cards, making the official announcement that the event will be happening in January 28th. And there are teasers during the weekends to introduce who are the speakers and the event. And the last major post is the thank you card for the activity. So you guys will also be creating something similar to this. You don't have to make the same promotional material such as the video. It can be anything that you think is more feasible, especially considering a 1-month time limit. So you guys will be divided into groups. So group 1 will be working here, and then group 2 will be working here. You just need to duplicate the sticky notes to create your ideas. And I will be stopping the sharing for now. Okay, so Belle, I'll ask for help with the division of
Yes.
group members.
Hello, everyone. If you want to join group 2, please go to the breakout room for group 2. And if you want to go to group 1, please stay in this main room. I already assigned you to your group, so yes, feel free to join the breakout room there.
All right. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. All right. So, oh no, we lost someone. I think some of the participants are having internet connections, because I noticed people leaving and rejoining the rooms. Hang on. Erlita and Agustin, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I,
hi,
hang
Cleo.
on. Yes, you're clear, hygienist.
Okay, so I wanted to know this is the main room and we'll be using this one for one of the charts, right?
That's what I assumed as well. I think
Yeah,
we were supposed to have the groups there, but it seems that most people went to the social media group.
yeah.
Uh, I think I'll
So
pause the recording first. I'll be pausing this.
Okay, so most of us are here already. So thank you for participating in our workshops. I saw that you guys did a great job, and we're very excited to see the output that you created. So let's proceed to the breakout room discussion. So maybe we can go first with the social media team. So you can have around 1 to 2 minutes, but if that's not enough, we can have another minute for your explanation. So go ahead, guys.
Are we a social media team?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Nadia, and I will be presenting what my group did. So I don't know if I'm supposed to share something or.
I can help
Okay.
share the screen. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So the first thing that we wanted to do, we all put today's the day and a thank you card. Then we brainstormed and I think the first thing that we wanted to do was to make a teaser, most likely a video teaser. Yeah, from there we just randomly picked a lot of things. So the first thing that we would do on the 2nd of January was contact the design team to ask them what kind of design suggestions they had. The second thing was to actually post the announcement of the event on the 9th of January. Then obviously the teaser release on the 11th. And then we would contact the partners of RLC or in general of IFSA to ask them to share the for instance, teaser or the post of the event. Then we would make a post about the panelists and moderators, most likely in a text form. Then we would post the registration link. After that on the 18th, and then after that on the 25th, we would post the Zoom link because a lot of people might not be able to see the post before. So the Zoom link would help them a few days before to actually join without maybe having to register. Then we would have a reminder before the event, and then we would have the event and we would give out a thank you card the day later. That's it.
Thank you, Nadia, and thank you to our social media team for creating such a wonderful calendar. Very comprehensive, and you guys did a great job. Virtual applause for the
Thank you.
social team. Thank you. Now let's proceed to the design group. Who would like to present? Maybe we can have around 2 or 3 people, or did you already assign someone? Karen.
Yes, we have someone participants. I don't know, Crispus, do you present the design, please?
Thank you so much. I was in the design team and we're trying to learn a lot that side. And as you can see on the screen here, that is what I tried to come out with within the shortest time possible. Yes, you can see it is still incomplete, but yes, I hope you can see it. So we're given, I'm sorry for the background noise. We're given a task to design a poster for the capacity building workshop, and we're given some guidance on how to put the poster, how to put the logo, not to make it so strangled and all that. So this is what I try to do, and trying to follow the IFSA, the IFSA font format, and put a date for the meeting and the day and all that. Then putting the Zoom link, though it is still missing. Yes, no, my work is incomplete, but it is still my first time using Canva. I must say that, yeah, it was really, a very nice lesson learning all this, how to use the Canva. So maybe I'll call my other colleagues who have better work to come and present theirs. Thank you.
Thank you, Crispus. Maybe we can have two more who would like
Yes.
to go next. Yeah.
Jasmine?
Yeah, hi. So I also didn't finish my design. And I have some problems because my title disappears sometimes, but it's still I use the palette of colors from IPSA. I also put a photo for an event last year, so I think it's kind of give you the vibe from IPSA, and also like people working together. And I include the title and the title of the workshop, also who's going to be the speakers. I didn't finish that the link for registration, but there is like the indication, and also including the dates and time of the event, and trying to keep it simple, but including like the main information from this activity. And I just have to say, I always love the work from Elif and Uma. They are amazing designing things. So thank you for sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you, Jasmine. Maybe we can have one more. Karen, who do we have next?
Yes, it's the Constanza. Constanza, you're here?
I can say the exact same thing. Mine's not finished. And yeah, try to put all the information following the guidelines. And yeah, of course, you have to put the date, registration link. And I tried to put like pictures of the speakers, but I had no time to put it because I think it's really nice when you get to see the faces of who's speaking. And yeah, that's what I can say. And thank you, Elif and Oma, for the amazing presentations, of course.
Yes, thank you, Kono, and thank you everyone who presented. And also we're really thankful to the speakers for providing all the necessary tips to make a great design, and also how to make sure that we have a wider reach for our social media posts. So now let's go to our Q&A session, which is the last activity for our workshop. The first question that we have for our speakers is, how does social media and design go hand in hand? And the second question is, how do you effectively market your social media content using your design? So to our speakers who would like to go first to answer the first question.
I can go first if it's okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so the first question is really good one actually, because social media and design together are really important, and the process in general needs to go in parallel in order to make sure that the content is well planned, and the design to show the content is also put in a way that can be understandable by anyone and that can reach to a lot of people. So while having this in preparation or plan, it's really important that the design and social media people work together and try to collaborate with this.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Elif. Chloe, go ahead.
Yeah, I just also want to share an observation during the workshop for social media. It's something very interesting because what for context from those in the design workshop, they were tasked to create a task calendar a planning calendar for what posts will be made. And one of the interesting discussions they had was when should they request from the design team, make the request from the design team so that they can post it on the set date for the schedules. And what they did was they put the request quite early. So that's a good consideration because it's something that it's part of the unexpected things that you consider when actually planning for social media. Because, for example, you might need to have the design checked to see if it's something that you can post for social media. Sometimes there's maybe a typo in the speaker's name, or maybe the images of the speakers were mixed up. And then it would be a bit difficult to deal with the aftermath of what happens when that's posted. And so that's one of the examples in which social media and design were related. So good on the social media group. And Hygienist, you can have the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Cleo is very loud and clear with your submission. I also want to just add that for actually to have more of your posts and getting engagements and then more reach, usually it's good. It's actually incorporated with design. So that's why people usually have designs added to their social media posts, because it makes the post more engaging, and people like visuals and other content types actually, such as videos, actually speak more, right? People get to understand more when it comes to seeing designs than only text on social media. So those two actually are very good when you combine them for social media posts. So it's very great that both social media and design should actually go so much close to each other. And this is what can increase the level of engagements as well. Yeah, so that's my submission for the first question too.
Yes. Thank you, Hygienist. Now maybe we can go to our second question, which is, how do you effectively market your social media contents using your design? So who would like to go first? Maybe now we can go with Uma. Are you there?
Okay, so for the question, how do you effectively market your social media contents using design? Is it correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so actually, for this question, I think Chloe already explained through her answers previously, in which that is called the planning and the social media planning, where in this workshop you guys did the planning through the calendars. That's how you effectively market your social media contents using the design. First, the design, I agree with Hygienist. The design helps other people to perceive your information more clearly, because we are visual. Because humans are visual, we would prefer graphics and colors rather than just bland text. And then from those designs, helping with the planning together on how to share them to social media, that's actually how you effectively market the social media contents using design. When the design is good and the planning is already done well, people would we can reach more audience through that. And then yeah, I guess that's a short answers from me on how you effectively market your social media contents, I guess.
Yes, thank you, Uma. Who would like to add to Uma's answer? Yes, Hygienist, go ahead.
Yes, so this is a very important question to actually clarify and then make things more clear. I think so. For effective marketing of social media content, usually it's good you have like a toolkit, right? Most people use Trello board. I don't know if everybody's familiar with Trello boards. So it's good to have a toolkit where you have all your designs uploaded on that toolkit, right? And once you have all your designs and then content like text content all in one place, it actually helps with your marketing because like you're able to share a single toolkit which contains all of your designs and also all of your text content for partners and also other people that would like to share your events or your activity. Like it helps them have easy access to the content at one place and able to share all those your content. And this actually helps with effective marketing when it comes to social media. And also with the designs that usually are made, it's good to actually know, okay, for video content, this is how we want to take them or like share it with partners. Because usually videos, it takes some tricks to share a video on toolkit, right? So usually it's good that you understand, okay, this particular content, this is how we are supposed to upload it on a toolkit before we can use it. Some people use Google Drive, some people use Drive and share slides. I think, WeTransfer rather. Some will use WeTransfer links to actually upload videos and add the links on their Trello boards. So it's good to understand these various technicalities when it comes to uploading your designs and also text content on toolkits and also sharing it wide. Yeah, so these are a few things that I wanted to mention concerning effective marketing of social media content, especially with regards to designs. Sure.
Thank you, Hygienist. And maybe for the last answer, we can go with Elif. Go ahead, Elif.
Yeah, thanks, Belle. I completely agree on previous comments from Hygienist and Uma. And on top of that, also, just one point I would like to add is to plan your content in an engaging way. For example, if you're preparing Instagram stories, try to include some quizzes or challenges to your content to enhance the engagement from the people that are seeing it, and you can also feel them contributing to the material and encourage them to share their own input for that. So that's also one important thing to consider.
Yes, thank you, Elif. Yeah, I completely agree with all of the answers. Maybe our participants have questions. You can type in our chat box or you can raise your hand and unmute yourself.
Belle, there is a question in the chat from Nadia.
Okay. Okay, so Nadia wrote, I have a question for social media. After the event is done, we will make a post, like a short report, and upload it in social media. What is the right time for the deadline to post it? If you are pertaining to what we did earlier, we are not required to post the output, but we will definitely make a report of what was the output from today's session. Yes, Hygiena?
Yeah, I wanted to address a question. Yeah. So with regards to posting reports, yeah, usually it's actually an important aspect of like after conference or after an activity engagement, okay, to tell your audience that, okay, this is how the whole event went. So usually within the GLF, what we do is we have an outcome statement, which basically captures most of the things that happened, the numbers, then the best codes and a whole lot. So we post these outcome statements on our social media. Usually we try to work it out within the first week after the event, and then we try to share it with partners and share it on social media too as well. So usually, yeah, it's good that you share, okay, the outcomes with your audience, people who participated, and also as well, so that they can download and also have a fair idea of what happened throughout the event. So I think that's very, very clear to take notes, right? Yeah, so it's actually appropriate to share your content out there, like the outcomes of your events out there in the form of outcome statements or reports. So it's fine, and it should actually come timely. Like it should come within the first week after the event. Yeah, so that people don't lose like focus on the events. So it should be within those periods so that it's actually in line with the event timelines. Yeah, thanks.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with hygienist. Yes, Chloe, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add like a little bit of information for things to consider when deciding the appropriate time to post after an event. So for an event like this, a simple summary like a thank you card for the attendants and the represent the speakers can be done through a quick screenshot or like a simple post. So it can be done even right after the event if you already have a template, so that it's like very in sync with what's happening in real time. It can also be the day after to give more time for editing. But like what hygienist said, if the event is more like complicated or there are so many things that you want to synthesize and report about the event, you usually take more time to do it. You work closely with the content creators for the design team to have the posts out within the first week so it's still relevant, and to, of course, consider what is within the capabilities of the design team for that week as well. So those are just some factors that you can consider when deciding an appropriate date for posting and creating media for posting. Thank you.
Thank you, Chloe. We have another question from Lila. If a series of capacity building workshops are planned, what would be the best time between the sessions?
Belle, I think this question is actually directed to you since you're the organizer of this
Oh.
event.
Oh, okay. If I understood it correctly, the capacity building workshops are actually implemented bi-monthly. So, yeah, we start the posting at the beginning of the month. So, for example, now the event is on January 28th. We started the posting 2 weeks before the event, and then on the first week of January, that was when we started contacting the design team, and we gave them all the details. Yeah, and that process will begin again in the maybe in March when the next capacity building workshop will take place. So I hope I answered your question correctly. Okay. So are there any other questions before we proceed to the wrap up? Okay. So if there aren't any questions, thank you very much. But before you leave, we will just give a few words of closing remarks and let's take a picture. So thank you very much for taking the time. It took us 2 hours, but I believe that our output from this workshop is very amazing. Beginning with the social media team, you had a very comprehensive social media calendar, and with the design, you really incorporated the knowledge that Elif and Uma shared. So thank you very much for the time that you gave us. So before we end our workshop, please open your camera so we can take our picture. Earlier we were 41, but now we're 14, but that's fine. Thank you for staying. So yes, please open your cameras. Perfect. Okay, let's take the picture. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. Yay. So, wait, the slides are not working. Okay. Again, if you want to receive your certificates, please scan this QR code, or Karen can also send the file again. Yes, thank you, Karen. And if you want to get the presentations for today, please email communication@ifsa.net, and we will give you the all the links to the presentations. So that is all for our workshop today. Hopefully we see you again in our next capacity building workshop. And thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day and have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.